Broadcasting live from the Green Hill Zone on the plane of Mobius, this is Tap Tap Concede. Welcome, everybody, to Tap Tap Concede. My name is Graham. Joining me this week, we have Wheeler.
I've got one drink.
And Cameron.
Huh?
And today, we're going to be talking about some Sonic the Hedgehog Secret Lair and Edge of Eternities, which we have more news about from the preview panel at MagicCon Vegas. But first, I want to remind everybody to check out, sponsor the show, Card Kingdom. CardKingdom.com/LRR. Put that little LRR on there because that tells them that we sent you over there. And we do that because we think they're a great place to buy your Magic cards. They'll ship singles anywhere in the world. You can also sell them your Magic cards. You can also use their very robust deck builder tool to just paste a whole deck list into their tool, and it'll go, cool, here's all the cards, and then you can choose which variant of whatever cards you want to get.
I love when people paste things into my tool.
Also, you can tell them Loading Ready Run sent me a button, please, and they'll give you a little button that says a funny thing. Also, I want to shout out to Dragon Shield. Use the code LRRMTG5. You can get yourself a 5% discount off anything you buy in the Dragon Shield store. And most importantly, everything that we do is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Or by becoming a member on this YouTube channel. How's it going? So, Wheeler, you were down in Vegas.
And boy, are my arms tired. Thank you. Thank you.
How was it?
Dry.
Yeah.
Not as, it was hot.
It was the day that you went down, it was 42 Celsius.
It got up to 45 one of the days we were there, I think.
That's obscene. I was a little I'm going to miss seeing all my friends down in Vegas. Now I'm not sad.
Yeah.
So that was a common take. The weather was fine. It doesn't matter. I'm a hot weather enjoyer.
Oh, I'm not.
How long were you really outside,
There was a line. They put the line outside this year. That's obscene.
Yeah. There are some things about the operational back end of some of the MagicCons in the past.
Because last year that line was indoors.
Yeah.
At the other end of the building.
I'm usually all for making Magic players suffer, but this seems dangerous. Although I understand the heat isn't so bad once you stop sweating.
It wasn't that bad.
Okay.
Is what I would say.
False.
If you, I don't know.
Ben's on tech
If
this week.
you were I'm not going to go because of the heat, you should probably just go. Don't let the heat stop you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to eliminate one of the, things to maybe eliminate your FOMO.
My FOMO. No,
it was a MagicCon. They're always fun, but they're also all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not paid to talk about MagicCons favorably, right?
No.
Great. Yeah, they're all the same. Who cares? If you like one, you like them all.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Atlanta. I missed this one. I'm not bummed about it. Honestly, it's fine. But there was a big preview panel on Friday where they talked about a whole bunch of future stuff, including Lorwyn Eclipsed, which sounds exciting. It's a cool name. Secrets of Strixhaven. We're going back to school. They talked about a couple other things coming along in the very near future, but primarily they were talking about Edge of Eternities.
Yes.
Which is the next main set coming out awfully quick.
Yeah, so this was an event that was somewhat tied to the release of Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
That had primarily Dragonstorm Tarkir branding everywhere, where they talked about Edge of Eternities.
Yep.
Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering. Speaking of Edge of Eternities, before we get too deep into the episode, I do want to tell everybody, hey, guess what? Pre-release is coming back. That's right. Pre-release for Edge of Eternities happening on Monday, July 21st. We have special guests, Tori of the Vast and Lewis Stardust from the Scrybabies joining us, and looking forward to checking out world first gameplay Edge of Eternities in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, let's say 3 weeks from when this goes live.
Right, yeah, because this goes up on Monday.
With previews already started, Graham, I've begun my edging.
Right. Let's get into Edge time. Hey, what? Let's take a look at some of the cards they showed off. We've got. Oh yeah, right. Shocklands are back.
Well, half of them.
5 of the Shocklands are back.
Let's get edged at the breeding pool.
And at the Godless Shrine. There's no god here. Sacred Foundry. Stomping Ground, and Watery Grave.
Hell yeah.
I don't know enough about Standard to care how this affects Standard. This is probably good.
So these lands are very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're really strong with the verges as well.
Right, because you can reveal these to have the verges enter. No, wait. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
Okay.
So previously, we've had standard environments with check lands and shock lands.
I was conflating them with the snarls. My bad.
Oh, we don't talk about the snarls anymore.
Okay.
We're beyond the snarls. That's the sequel to Edge of Eternities, Beyond the Snarls.
Nice.
With the check lands like Drown, Catacomb, Glacial Fortress, and whatnot, check lands and shock lands are busted, right? You play your shock on turn 1, all your check lands come to play on tap, more or less. Last time we had that, the mana bases were wild and wacky. Mm-hmm. Now we are going to have shock lands and cards that are effectively check lands, except they always come into play untapped and they always add like mana on the turn that you play them.
Right. The verges, we're looking at Blazemire Verge right now. It taps for black or taps for red, but only if you control a swamp or a mountain.
So our mana is going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
I believe we are losing the fast lands from 1. Yes. We're losing the fast lands from 1.
Right, that's still in Standard.
Yeah. Okay. But not all the fast lands. And we're losing pain lands because pain lands were in Brothers War.
Right.
So mana's we're losing some lands, but who cares? You have shock lands and verges. Your mana's going to be great.
We have to assume the other 5 will be in a set or 2.
Who can say, Graham?
I have no idea.
Great.
Okay.
They're going to be Spider-Man.
Not to
They're
be.
all going to be different bodegas. No, the boroughs of New York.
Oh, God.
The 5 boroughs represented as the unprinted shock lands.
Yes.
But Godless Shrine is in this set.
Yeah. Steam Vents is just like...
Oh, that's pretty good, actually. Yeah.
Not to sound like an old man.
Uh-huh.
But I have seen people on social media complaining. And I know that this is like, yes, I know. But these are people who like... Well, I guess this doesn't make it any better, but they're people that make money off of talking about Magic the Gathering cards. But they're like, I can't believe we're only getting half of the shock lands. It's a very weird thing to do. Mm-hmm. That like... this is really going to warp the colors people play. And it's like...
Will it?
Well, yeah, for one thing, will it? And also, okay.
Yeah.
Everything is warped by what they print into Standard. That's how Standard works.
Yeah, like Sheoldred warped the colors people played.
Yeah, they designed the format.
Yeah.
They don't get everything right, but they, mana bases is usually where they can lock in and be like, well, people are going to kind of be geared towards playing this color combo or with these cards.
Well, like the shocks they're printing aren't exclusively allied or enemy colors. Right. They are a selection.
Yeah.
Presumably for some kind of design reason.
Well, I mean, the shocks that we have too are kind of interesting because like black blue is one of the best decks in the format that isn't mono red or blue red. Mm-hmm. Both of which I believe are losing their dual lands. Like there's no steam vents here. They'll have the verges, but
like there's 2 of the Esper lands.
Right.
I didn't end up watching it, but I was aware that the top 8 of the Pro Tour at MagicCon Vegas was 4 mono red decks and 4 red blue decks.
Yeah.
I love Monstrous Rage and Corey Steelcutter.
Yeah. I saw a lot of people talking about Monstrous Rage on
and banning Corey Steelcutter.
Yeah. Well,
there's a ban announcement on Monday. When this episode's out, there will be a ban list announcement.
Great.
Yeah.
What do you think they're going to ban?
They could ban nothing.
That would be objectively the funniest
or
result.
Or ban Monstrous Rage and Corey Steelcutter.
All right.
And maybe something else.
Well,
I don't know.
I'm glad they made the decisions that they did, or I can't believe they've done this.
Whichever one makes you
feel
engage.
feel free to apply that however you wish to make it the funniest.
Standard's a funny format, especially because it's often the most popular 60-card format that there is. And people look at Pro Tour metas as though they are reflective of the metas they'll find locally, online at High Ladder, or at like RCQs. Like it's all over the place. Like those decks are going to be the most popular for a variety of reasons relating to not just power level, but also because it's 500 of the best Magic players in the world playing against each other or whatever. Like which is another level above everything else. Like it is the gap between the worst player on the Pro Tour and the best player on ladder that isn't on the Pro Tour is like massive. So people that are like clamoring for 1 million bans, like you can do that to shake it up, just get people to play different cards, but like also no, they don't have to necessarily. Like
I remember when Cobblade was dominating Standard here, and Standard, but like we went to our friendly LGS YJ. Many people were playing it, but there were also many people playing little kid decks.
Yeah,
right. Or like I enjoyed this kind of like draft deck I put together, so I supported it with standard available stuff.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, especially on a local level where like the outcome of a tournament can be based entirely on whether or not a cool new movie is in theaters, and the best player at your LGS decided to skip F&M and go see the like Friday night release. Like it can change the texture of the local meta.
Yeah.
Like I remember that happened locally, not to dox anybody, but like one of the best players in our city that was playing Mono Blue Devotion like over and over again. And there were very few other Mono Blue players running around for some reason. Had to like not show up for like a month and a half or so for like exams or something with the university, and everybody's like, God, is Mono Blue bad? I just haven't seen it. Can't be good anymore, right? Yeah. Mono Black's just the best thing to do. And it's like
only 4 people in town opened what was Master of the Tides?
Master of Waves.
Master of Waves.
The Wave of Babies.
And that guy had them all.
Yeah, exactly. And it's they may do bans, they may not. Depends on what their goals are, especially with so many new sets being entered into Standard.
So speaking of which, let's take a look at...
I can't believe they banned Soul Ring.
From Standard. Let's take a look at some of the other cards that they previewed for Edge of Eternities. Here's Tezzeret Cruel Captain. Here's what Tezzeret's been up to. 3 colorless. Just 3 generic mana for big, colorless Planeswalker.
I can't believe he turns Time Vault into a 1/1.
Static ability that reads, whenever an artifact you control enters, put a loyalty counter on Tezzeret. So that doesn't say non-token either, so that's interesting. For 0 loyalty, enters with 4 loyalty. For a change of 0, untap an artifact or creature. If it's an artifact creature, put a +1/+1 counter on it. -3, search your library for an artifact card with mana value 1 or less, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. And then -7, you get an emblem with, at the beginning of combat on your turn, put 3 +1/+1 counters on a target artifact you control. If it's not a creature, it becomes a 0/0 robot artifact creature.
So he comes down turn 1.
Yeah.
Off of Workshop.
Well, you can't cast him off Workshop.
Oh, no, wait. Oh, no, he's colorless. He's not an artifact.
Yeah,
he's
so
not an artifact planeswalker.
Unfortunately, you'll have to tap one of your other 16 lands that produce more than 1 mana.
Yeah, and then he finds, Time Key?
Yeah, finds Black Lotus, finds Voltaic Key. Like, this card is so absurd. It's, this is one of those Magic cards where I believe at the reveal, Ben Ulmer was there, and all the Commander players were like, oh my god, it finds Soul Ring. And then Ben, someone who has played Canadian and Highlander, so understands real power, was like, oh, you can find a Mox. It's like, yeah, this card, Soul Ring, one of the most powerful cards in the game. You got to open your mind. You got to find your Black Lotus, find your Voltaic Key, find your Mox Sapphire.
There's an interesting line where it's like, if you're playing Soul Ring, objectively, that might be the better grab in Highlander, but like, there's so far beyond where you can go.
Yeah, like even if this card untaps, like grabbing Mana Vault, which taps for 3, and then has like, I don't get to untap, I'm so sad, and then you untap it immediately with Tezzeret. Like, I'm going to play this card and ult it on the same turn, like often. I won't ult it because I'll just want to find Black Lotus and end the game.
Ult 2. What's his third ability? You get an emblem with it. Beginning of combat on your turn, put 3+1/+1 counters on target artifact you control.
Yeah.
If it's not a creature, it becomes a robot. Sure.
Just every
okay.
turn
Yeah,
that
I
happens.
guess.
The Magali Villeneuve borderless variant is also gorgeous.
I like how his sash is a punch card, a computer punch, like an early computing punch card.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's super cool.
If you zoom in, it's actually a lace card.
Wow.
Which is when you would go and punch out every hole in a punch card and create an incredibly fragile thing that, if you put it in the computer, would gum it up.
That's wild.
Yeah. It was an early way of sabotaging computers.
So, what's that?
Oh, just one last thing about Tezzeret too, because this is pretty relevant. Is there's a deck in Standard right now that is a blue-white artifact deck that plays Simulacrum Synthesizer from the Big Score that poops out constructs whenever you have artifacts with mana value 3 or less come into play. It plays a bunch of utility artifacts from sets that I do not believe are rotating out. And it actually got a pretty big boost with Tarkir Dragonstorm, the card Unified Battlefront, which is collected company for non-creature, non-land cards. So you play it, you get 2 synthesizers in play, they see each other, they kiss, and now you have 2 like 12/12s. But also you can hit Tezzeret off of this.
Great.
So some of your utility artifacts that can tap to use activated abilities, you can just immediately have it come into play. Tezzeret sees them come into play, gets a bunch of counters. You just start doing things right away.
Wild.
Yeah, it's cool.
Speaking of artifacts, we also saw the Sarima, a legendary artifact spacecraft. Now, spacecraft is a new thing. This one is 1 white. It's not a vehicle, but it's very similar to a vehicle. It reads, when it enters, search your library for a legendary creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. And then it has Station, for which the reminder text is, tap another creature you control, put charge counters equal to its power on this spacecraft. Station only is a sorcery, and it becomes an artifact creature at 7+. So whereas vehicles, you tap the creature, they're a vehicle until they become a creature until end of turn. This, you sort of bank power, and then once the ship is stationed enough, then it just is always a creature until it gets destroyed or the game's over, I guess. And when this one becomes a creature, it's a 5/5 with flying that also reads, other tapped legendary creatures you control have indestructible. So the idea being that the legendary creature that you went looking for then can station this and then becomes indestructible. And everything, if you're looking at it, everything within the... I believe that this is correct, that the tapped legendary creatures you control have indestructible does not take effect until this is stationed, because it's in that zone of the card.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Neat.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like vehicles meets level up.
Yeah, I think this is really neat. I think this is a cool idea. They also, with this, they introduced a change to commander rules where legendary vehicles, and legendary artifacts, legendary vehicles and spaceships can also be your commanders, which is fine, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
The conversation about this, I'm pretty sure this isn't breaking any NDAs, because this was also in effect before the Commander Advisory Group kind of came, this was in effect for while the Commander Advisory Group and the RC were still an entity.
Right. This would have been talked about
before the Commander format panel.
Right.
But it was certainly discussed among both of those kind of groups. And the general consensus was, sure.
Yeah.
It's got it's got legendary, and it's got power and toughness in the bottom right corner somewhere. And it's like, yeah, who cares? It gets more people playing. This is different from Planeswalkers. That's the big thing that everybody mentions is like, how come Planeswalkers aren't commanders? And it's like, well, there are a variety of reasons. If you want, Rachel Weeks has a good, very long, thorough video on exactly why Planeswalkers aren't commanders.
Yep.
But also, you could just rule 0. Who cares?
Because the current bench of potential new commanders with this rules change is pretty slim, if I recall correctly. Like, there's not that many legendary vehicles that now can be commanders.
Right. Well, a lot of it has to deal with design space.
Yeah.
Like, how many problems are you creating at the instance in which you enact this rule? And how many problems do you have to try to avoid moving forward?
Right.
And the answer is like pretty low, because the best vehicle to be your commander is Shorikai, which is already a vehicle that could be your commander as per its rule text. So, like,
I don't even know this one.
Shorikai Genesis engine. It's 2 white and a blue. It's an 8/8 that crews for 8, I believe, and has pay 1 generic, tap, draw 2 cards, discard a card, and then create a 1/1 pilot token that can crew vehicles as though its power were 2 or greater.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this card's busted. Like, it's so incredibly good. And also, importantly, it has the text of Shorikai Genesis Engine can be your commander. Oh. So we already had the best one, like the best option could already have been your commander.
Right.
Like, the ones that opens up are more colorless commanders,
yeah,
which are always great. Stuff like Parhelion 2, which is like,
let's go.
Yeah, sure, this costs 8. Like, whatever.
Yeah,
Skyboat.
The one from Fallout.
Yeah, the
Pridwin.
the blimp. Yeah,
the Pridwin. Sure. Okay. Could make a Brotherhood.
That
of
is
Steel
exactly the reaction of, oh, yeah, that. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
yeah. I definitely, it's there. Yeah. As you say, they're at a point now where if the switch was flipped on Planeswalkers, it would be potentially ruinous. Flipping the switch on vehicles now and knowing that is the way that it is going forward means that, like, right now it's not format destroying and they can now plan for it.
And it's going to be so hard to make it format destroying.
Yeah.
Because in other formats, like, even if they are now incentivized to make more legendary vehicles, that itself is a downside for 60-card formats, so they can maybe juice it up a little bit. But, like, you make Smuggler's Copter a legendary creature, and, like, is it running amok? No. Like, what? Yeah,
it's a 2/3.
It's not. Who cares? Yeah.
All right. We also saw a legendary enchantment, which cannot be your commander, of Sothera the Super Void. 2 black. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent chooses a creature they control and exiles it, which is, there's a similar ability on a different thing that I don't...
Yeah. It's kind of Grave Pact adjacent.
Yeah, wasn't one of the new sieges, like one of the, from Tarkir Dragonstorm?
There's one that triggers at the end step.
Yeah.
Baron's, Steam Bear's
Baron
Siege.
Steps.
Yes.
Thank you, Steege. Thank you, Ben.
Berenstein
yes,
Steve.
The Mardu option on Baron Step Siege says at the beginning of your end step, if a creature died under your control this turn, each opponent sacrifices a creature their control, which sucks, being on the bad end of that. Sothera, now seen here in an even cooler form, continues. At the beginning of your end step, if a player controls no creatures, you sacrifice Sothera, then put a creature card exiled with it onto the battlefield under your control with 2 additional +1/+1 counters. So you only get 1 creature, but you do get to slowly just... It's a really slow wrath, I guess?
I mean, that is the nature of a black hole.
Yeah, and it keeps their board under control, I suppose.
Here's
a textless version that looks sick as hell, and one who comical card to remove all the text from.
Yeah,
I don't-
it's Sothera, you know.
Yeah.
People joke about textless cryptic command.
Yeah.
But like that's a pretty easy one to actually remember.
Yeah, take another turn, draw 3 cards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is a textless card from 2025 is like what are we doing? What are we doing?
What are we doing?
I dare you to I dare you to list off all the words on Questing Beast. We're not doing that. And that card's like 5 years old.
Yeah. Textless Questing Beast would be... Have they done that?
No.
They didn't do that in like a secret lair or something?
No,
That would be
they
funny.
did textless Omnath, the 4-mana Omnath, which is pretty funny. But also
There was a
that's
store promo Urza Saga too that was
Yeah.
textless.
but at least those ones are like the kind of cards that like they are geared towards tournament play, like the rewards for tournament play.
Right.
And if you play in tournaments in the formats where those cards are legal, you know what they do. Because you're spending at least 70% of your day, being pissed off that your opponent had one of those cards. Or pissed off that you didn't have your copy of those cards.
Anyway, Sothera feels like a black hole to me.
Yeah.
Right? It eats things and then vomits them all back out once the universe changes.
Meanwhile, visiting from Dune. Actually, I'm gonna catch myself here because I did see a comment about Alpha Dreaming Acolyte here, comparing him to how some of the characters look in the recent Dune movies, and someone else was saying, no. What this reminds me of is the Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And first of all,
Necromongers.
yes. First of all, hell yeah. Secondly, it really does. And I'm here for that kind of space epic. Alfariel is 1 blue-black for a 2/3 human cleric. When they enter, you draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards unless you discard an artifact. During your turn, has death touch. Interesting.
Sure.
Can't block a big thing, but gets to attack. I guess they're incentivizing you to crundle in with the death touch only on your turn.
Yeah, Death Touch is they've been doing this a bit more with Death Touch and First Strike.
Yeah.
Mechanics that just gum up the board and make for very long, grindy games. And says like you could do this, but only if it prevents your opponent from like blocking profitably.
Yeah. That seems really cool. Sammy, Ship's Engineer, is 2 red-white for a 2/4 human artificer. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 2 or more tapped creatures, make a tapped 2/2 colorless robot. So this ties in with the survivor mechanic from Duskborn in an interesting way.
I don't play a lot of limited, but that seems like a pretty good uncommon.
Yeah.
That's really strong.
Like you
No,
just
yeah,
play
like-
a 2-drop, a 3-drop, and then this on 4, and I also get another 2/2.
And a spacecraft to tag
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it counts itself too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you could just be like 2-drop, spacecraft on 3, this thing, crew the craft, make another 2/2. Huh.
Yeah, this seems really strong.
I mean, yeah, we have seen this in Boros, usually in the vehicle sets,
Yeah.
right? Or in Ixalan as well,
Where-
it cared about the artifact Boros deck cared deeply about tapped creatures.
Being tapped, yeah. We also saw Tanuk Memorial Ensign, 1 red-green for a 2/4 Kavu pilot.
Oh, yeah.
The Kavus from this world, which I forgot the name of, are like sapient and bipedal. 2/4 for 3, already great. Landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, Tanuk deals 1 damage to each opponent. If this is the second time this ability is resolved this turn, draw a card. Nice. Especially following all the great landfall cards in the Final Fantasy set. Very cool. Harmonious Grove Strider.
Oh, he's so big.
This big guy, big dino thing. 3 green for a star beast with ward 2, and the stars are power and toughness each equal to the number of lands you control. Because it's about exploring the cosmos. We're going out there and finding new lands.
Gaia's Liege, now busted down to uncommon.
Wow, yeah. What was the casting cost of Gaia's Liege?
3 and 3 green.
So this is even easier to cast.
And I think it only cared about forests.
I believe it cared about,
And this one's got ward.
ward 2.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
Okay. And then, this is useless for those listening, but these gorgeous, borderless, basic lands I did like at the preview panel they were talking about scale ships.
Instead of scale birds.
Yeah, spaceships for scale. The sheer scale of this set and the environments are pretty astounding.
Yeah.
And then we also saw
Yeah, Adam Paquette did great work here.
the Mutavault part of this is a bonus sheet ? Bonus sheet, I believe, of lands. I think it's just lands. With a with an interesting graphical treatment.
Oh, I love Amonkhet.
Now,
So, did you hear Paul's take on these? By the way,
No.
oh,
so we in advance for PPR prep get sent the card files so that we can prep for the PPR and do all that stuff, and the syntax for these for like the type line for Mutavault, for example, here, some of them have to be capitalized to get the effect that you see on there through the typeset. And so the card names are kind of spelt out like you would see, like, the SpongeBob meme where he's like, with intercap sort of letters. Yeah. And so there's like a whole pile of them that are spelled like this.
that's amazing. I haven't seen any of them yet, but yeah, because this font or this typeface, whatever, will it'll have different glyphs depending on if it's a capitalized letter or not. And so obviously the graphic designer has gone through and selected which one of each thing is preferable to make that all work together.
I'm not a sci-fi guy.
Yeah.
But I love the aesthetic of the set.
Yes.
Like I
think
it is
gorgeous.
Absolutely stunning. But I got to tell you, I haven't seen that Mutavault.
Oh.
But seeing it for the first time, it's like just because it's in space doesn't mean it has to be illegible. Like you can just put Mutavault there and I would still be, looking at it with a childlike wonder instead of going, what the hell is like scissors oto voto to?
I kind of like it as like the like 1970s pulp novel graphic, but it is kind of illegible. I don't know what the rest of them are.
There's got to be a way that you could make it so that you could read this word and still be like, wow, I love space.
What, you don't like the 3 triangles in the middle of the word? There's definitely a T
I
in
also
there.
don't like closing off the top of the U, because that's kind of what the U's all about.
Yep.
That's what separates the U's from the O's,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, this is kind of like a check for how well do you know what Magic the Gathering is. Because you show this to someone who doesn't know, like, Mutavault is a word that you could read,
Yeah.
right? But you show this to someone and they're like, what?
Just, God.
No.
Imagining somebody whose second language is English getting into Magic, not knowing what Mutavault is, like from a historical sense, and just looking at this card and trying to parse its name.
What is the Star Wars alphabet called? Orabesh?
Yep. That's correct.
Yeah. And I'm trying to remember what the one in the culture novels is called.
I couldn't tell you.
But it's, yeah.
I love this art with the like strange creatures each trapped in their own ice cube in this belt of ice, because that's the Mutavault aspect. That's really cool. And the other one that we saw briefly, the like even fancier borderless one, that's awesome. By Aaron Ning, great stuff. Wow. Yeah. So yeah, Edge of Eternities.
Win, right?
Win? Yeah.
Win,
I
yeah.
think I messed that up. So then we're going to take a hard pivot.
Okay, sorry. Just like going from the scale of Mutavault to like, Jesus, that's a big Sonic.
Like we're just trying to
Right? Like you're like, this is a stellar scale Sonic.
Surrounded
we
by-
need to go back to birds.
Surrounded by scale spaceships. They announced today a Sonic the Hedgehog. Sorry, 3. I thought it was just 1. 3 Sonic the Hedgehog secret lairs. and with full of two of them, I believe, are sort of the vanity printing reprints with new names and new art. But one of them has mechanically unique cards, so we're going to talk about that one first. Sonic the Hedgehog, 1 blue, red, white for a 2/4 Hedgehog warrior with haste, obviously, and gotta go fast. Which is whenever Sonic the Hedgehog attacks, you put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control with flash or haste. And whenever a creature you control with flash or haste is dealt damage, you make a tapped treasure token because the rings are firing out of them.
That's great.
That's very funny. Yeah, pretty great stuff. Oh, and there's, the treasure token. The treasures do indeed look like the rings. That's great. I hadn't seen that. But what about Sonic's Dark Side? It's Shadow the Hedgehog. They're making the same pose, but their hands are different. And Shadow looks
You have
angry.
to be so careful with your words
Yeah,
if you're talking about Sonic Online.
I know.
I'm just warning you.
Where's Shadow's gun?
Okay, see, now you've gone and blown it.
Okay. Black, red for a 4/2 Hedgehog Mercenary, also with haste. Whenever Shadow the Hedgehog or another creature you control with flash or haste dies, draw a card. And the flavor ability Chaos Control. Each spell you cast has split second if mana from an artifact was spent to cast it. So what, if you control the Chaos Emeralds?
Yeah, Chaos. Oh, you mean the Chaos Emeralds?
Chuckled.
Chuckled Obama.
Chuckled Obama.
All right, what else?
You think anybody, when they were designing Mercadian masks, and they're like, okay, we got rebels and we got mercenaries, and they're like, we got to tone down the strength of these mercenaries because it's just too good when they can find a hedgehog in 20 years.
you know, because Sonic the Hedgehog would have been contemporaneous with that.
Yeah, but not Shadow. I don't think Shadow was out there.
No, but I just love the idea that they had to be like, wait. You know Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, well, eventually there will be a...
Well, Shadow came out in Sonic Adventure 2, right? Like on the Dreamcast? Furries in chat, let me know.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Shadow would have been released before Masks. Maybe directly influencing the design of that set.
Do we have Tails? Surely we have a Tails. We do. Miles Tails Prower. One white blue for a 3/1 with flash and flying. A Fox Artificer. Whenever a vehicle you control enters, draw a card if it has flying. Otherwise, put a flying counter on it.
Cool.
You make it the thing fly. Love that.
Cool. Okay. Then Knuckles?
Knock, it's Knuckles.
Right. 2 red for a 2/4 Echidna Warrior with double strike, trample, and haste. And whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token and the ability Treasure Hunter at the beginning of your upkeep. If you control 30 or more artifacts, you win the game.
Down to Pumpkin Hill.
Uh-huh. Dr. Eggman, 2 and what? Grixis?
Yeah.
2 blue, black, red for a 3/6 human scientist with flying. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card. Then each opponent faces a villainous choice. That player discards a card, or you may put a construct, robot, or vehicle from your hand onto the battlefield. That's amazing. And Amy Rose. 2 red, white for a 3/3 with haste. Whenever Amy Rose attacks, attach up to 1 target equipment to her, then up to 1 other target attacking creature gets +X/+O until end of turn, where X is Amy Rose's power.
I cannot wait to kill somebody in Canadian Highlander with Amy Rose.
This seems very good, right?
Yeah, I mean, it has a lot of downsides, but just the idea of like going like, okay,
The colossal hammer.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I'll tap my unlimited Mox Ruby and my Ancient Tomb and my Plateau to cast Amy Rose and just
Just auto-equip a Cauldra complete.
yes, exactly. Putting a batter skull on Amy Rose. Oh God.
Oh, and Super State. A 7 mana aura, colorless aura, that says enchant creature you control. The enchanted creature has base power and toughness 9/9 and has flying, first strike, trample, and haste. And whenever an enchanted creature deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other opponent.
This game is so stupid. Oh my god. Oh.
Finally, Magic the Gathering getting the respect it deserves.
Yeah. I mean, for not to beat a dead horse here, but you know, at least if you're gonna do Universes Beyond, this does feel like Sonic has pedigree.
Yeah.
Like it or not, it's been around for a while. Despite the fact that this is going to get people upset. I think I described it earlier as a series with 50 games, 2 of them good, and people still hold him up next to Mario. Like, that's got to account for something, right?
The commitment to Sonic the Hedgehog from and associated characters from the fandom, despite routinely middling video games
For like 20 years.
and there have been some great Sonic games.
Yeah.
But I feel like, and I know that you know who you are. I know some like very committed Sonic fans, and whenever a Sonic the Hedgehog game comes out that is good, they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
great!" It's a pleasant surprise, even from fans of the series. They're like, "Oh, well, this is nice."
Oh, thank God.
What a change of pace. I have no ill will to Sonic. I want to be clear.
Oh, I love the guy.
There's a Sol Ring, very cool art. You assume, of course, the Sol Ring is going to be the ring, but no, that's the treasure token. So this one, that's very cool art, honestly, on the Sol Ring. This is in the second layer now, I assume, Ben.
Yeah.
It goes a little too hard. You're like, damn, Sonic, chill.
Yeah.
Well, you have the shift from, this really well, rendered and thoughtful art, and not to apply anything about this one, but the tonal shift
To generous gift with one of the little elephant creatures. Great. Okay. What else is we getting in this layer? Unexpected windfall with, I assume that's one of the Chaos Emeralds. As far back as I can remember, I've been living here on this dark island, always guarding the Master Emerald from anything that could harm it, says Knuckles the Echidna.
It is the big emerald.
Open the armory with Amy Rose and her hammer.
Have no fear. Amy Rose is here.
Fabricate. Tails building a biplane because Tails can fly. Why does Tails need a plane?
Because
You can walk. Why do you need a car?
Okay, you know what?
nice.
First of all, how dare you?
Ass.
Yep. Deadly Dispute, very nice. I see there's a lot of there was one of the gems on that last card as well. It seems like there's one. Was there one in Amy Rose's card too? Or the Open the Armory? I don't see one of the emeralds here. They say emeralds, but they're all different colors. No, I don't see one here. Okay, but there was one just like sitting in Tails' toolbox while he's
Careful.
building a plane.
Careful.
What?
You can't.
You don't want me talking about Tails'
You're
toolbox?
like, they say emeralds, but they're all different colors. I mean, it's good for engagement. I just worry for your safety.
Look, we all know that they're going to insert the first reprint
You
of
can't
Mox
say
Emerald
insert.
yeah.
as a surprise card in these secret layers.
The which, sorry?
There's going to be a Mox Emerald in these secret layers.
What else is in this particular?
So that's all the ones from that one.
Okay.
And then the next one does the thing where they're named differently, but they are reprints.
Okay.
So this is the next one.
So we've got the Reaver Cleaver, seen here as Knuckles' gloves. Time for a Knuckles sandwich.
Yeah, I'll bet it is.
Yeah, dude.
Do we get a chili dog?
Oh, yeah.
No, the John Cougar Mellencamp secret layer got pushed back for UB.
Swiftfoot boots, here seen as air shoes. Air shoes?
Air shoes.
Guys, you gotta stop, man.
I'm sorry. Egg hammer?
Yeah.
This Mirror Battlesphere reprinted as Egg Hammer. So wait, they can't call him Dr. No, he is Dr. Eggman.
Yeah,
They don't call him Robotnik anymore. Okay. No. And an egg pawn. Oh, they have the now. Is this going to come with 4 of them? I bet not.
It had best.
It had better come with 4 of these little egg pawns. Ah, the Pico Pico hammer. That's it. Or the Hammer of Nazan. It's a legendary hammer. Mm-hmm. The Pico Pico hammer. And Lightning Greaves are the power sneakers. I'll show you what true speed really is, says Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh, and Tornado, Sonic's biplane, the weather light. Wow, the idea of the weather light is Sonic's ship is very funny to me.
Wait, and he forces Tails to drive?
Yeah, why is it Sonic's plane if Tails built it and flies it?
Is Tails actually Sonic's, chauffeur?
I guess Sonic bankrolled it. I guess that's what we're going with. No, it's my biplane.
Is Sonic a Nepo baby?
Can you fly it? No, but it's mine. Now, fly me to work.
Who cares? This game jumped the shark a long time ago. It's very funny, and the cards mechanically look pretty great.
Yeah, they look great.
They play pretty well.
These make me laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I would rather they do this than the cowardly SpongeBob cards, where they're just. I mean, if you're going to do the reprints with the thematic name or whatever, sure, but you should make a vintage legal copy of Mr. Krabs, right?
Yes.
Commit.
Yes.
Don't futz around here. Yeah, none of this Joe the Unifier. I want my unique gay SpongeBob card that isn't just some corny commander.
Now, what do you think about where are we at on them reprinting mechanically unique Secret Lair cards? Because I think we're a little behind.
I have no idea. I don't even know if they're committing to doing that anymore.
I thought they said they were.
Yeah, but they changed their mind depending on what the last quarter looks like.
Right. Okay. Because they haven't done Lara Croft yet.
Tomb Raider?
Yeah. Well, there was a Tomb Raider Secret Lair, but the Lara Croft card in it was mechanically unique, and they have yet to do a Universes Within version of it.
Okay.
Or, I'm sorry, are we calling it all through the Omen Paths now? I actually don't know. I don't know. Okay.
I thought it was Universes Within still, but...
There was one other big spoiler that happened at Vegas.
Oh?
Which they spoiled one Avatar card.
Yes. Right. Aang. Avatar Aang. Red, green, white, blue for a 4/4. Human Avatar ally with flying and firebending 2. No explanation of what that means. And then whenever you waterbend, earthbend, firebend, or airbend, draw a card. Then if you've done all 4 this turn, you transform Avatar Aang into Aang, Master of Elements, who is a 6/6 flying Avatar ally. Spells you cast cost the full Wooburg less to cast. And at the beginning of each upkeep, you may transform Aang. And if you do, back into the other side, and if you do, you gain 4 life, draw 4 cards, put 4 counters on him, and he deals 4 damage to each opponent.
Using this to cheat Chromat into play.
I love that Swords to Plowshares exist.
1 mana. Whoop.
It's just so funny. We have gods. We've got whatever the hell this is. Mm-hmm. It's just nope, you're a farmer now.
Yep.
Sorry, fella.
Yeah, years and years ago, we had an idea for a sick rip where it was just a field with Grizzlebrand with a hoe.
Yeah.
And then Ulamog just
kind of
turns up.
Just pops into existence.
And then a couple of seconds pass, and then Grizzlebrand just says, this is nice.
Yeah. They're all cool with it now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this card's wild. Now, technically, for commander purposes, this has all 5 colors.
Yes.
Even though only one of them is a pip on the back as a cost reduction.
Now you have even less reasons to play Tazri. Any of the Tazris.
My Tazris.
Yeah. This is pretty good, especially because of how easy waterbending is, it works pretty well in like a deck that is primarily focused on airbending and firebending. I have no idea what these do.
I didn't think so. I didn't think you did. I was like, I don't think he knows what these do yet.
Nope.
Yeah, I obviously don't have a clue. So
We could speculate,
Cool.
though. I'm going to say firebending is what happens when you spend red mana to cast an instant or sorcery.
Oh.
but he's got firebending too. So what does that mean? Does it mean that it makes it cheaper?
Yeah, absolutely. You can use this to take 2 mana off of I don't know, Wheel of Fortune.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, why not?
There we go. We solved it. Worked it out.
Yeah, you know what? That I could see it being something like that. Oh yeah, right. The other thing that they showed off as part of this card was they showed the art being drawn by Brian, and I can't read the last name from here because the text is really small.
Avatar.
Yes, Brian Avatar, just like John Elden Ring, one of the co-creators of the franchise. And it's nice when like someone who does a cartoon show can actually draw. So that's cool.
Is that a jab at us?
Do we do a cartoon show?
No.
Oh, well, thank God. No,
Sorry, I got defensive.
that's okay.
You know the cabbage guy is going to wind up being vintage playable?
I hope so.
Cabbage guy.
My cabbages.
There's a guy who always shows up
Oh.
in the background, and his cart always gets turned over, and he screams, "My cabbages!"
Sorry.
And all the people clap.
I watched this show like 2 decades ago.
Yeah, it's for
Barely.
kids. It's fine.
Yeah, he falls in love with the moon. I remember that happening and literally going up to my mom and being like, I could fall in love with the moon. Just like offhand, I was like, I think I could. I could be one of those guys.
Yeah,
Sure. She was very supportive, Mom.
Yeah, Endymion sends the word. This always works out.
I could fall in love with the moon. Yeah, we've always known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my real coming out story.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys talked about it, but they did spoil some of the pre-con commanders as well for Edge of Eternities.
Oh, I didn't see that actually. I saw that they showed the decks, but I didn't see the actual commanders.
So for
Lay it on us.
the Jund one, you got this bug.
Zarel Genesis Shepherd. 2 and a full Jund for a 2/5 insect druid with flying. You can play lands from your graveyard, and whenever you sacrifice another non-token permanent during your turn, put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to Zarel's power on up to one other target creature. Neat.
Huh.
I love naming cards. Like you could just let it rip. Not to, diminish the creative process, but it's just like, okay, I need 2 nouns. Genesis Shepherd. Yeah, you got it.
Well,
we got to do one more before we go for lunch. Can you press the random button? Sure. It says Glarb Calamity Augur or Kilo Apogee Mind.
it's like how Marvel came up with Infinity War. They did market research, or Secret War. And they did market research and found that people responded positively to the words secret and war.
That's amazing.
They responded positively to war.
Yeah, in comic book titles.
Oh,
Yeah. So they're like, okay, there you go, Secret War. I guess it's Skrulls.
okay.
Kilo Apogee Mind is just blue, red, white for a 3/3 robot artificer with haste, and when Kilo becomes tapped, proliferate.
This is going to be fine.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
This card's cool.
Yeah.
Both sculptor and sculpted. Me after I do 10 push-ups.
But guys, it goes infinite with intruder alarm.
Oh.
It's a lot of big talk for someone who's in lightning bolt range.
Yeah, maybe I'm too 1v1 pilled. But I look at this card, I'm like, damn, 3 mana for haste? 3/3? Woo! Woo!
Yeah.
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 I'll take your Brazen Scourge.
Yeah, I'll take Lightning Angel 9 through 12.
Proliferate's kind of cool.
I love this art. It's really cool. I like that it's a robot artificer, so it's a robot building other robots which I guess is what the proliferation is. Neat.
It's a little bleak.
Space. Yeah. Some of it's kind of bleak out there. In space. They used a analogy of an orange.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, the flesh of the orange is like the multiverse that we know, and the seeds are the planes that we've visited, and this is the pith at the peel.
So we're not quite at like the rind or the peel. It's just we're on the pith.
I think that's what they said.
Taking the pith.
Yeah. It's gonna really edge on this pith.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going with this.
gonna pith
Workshop
everyone
it,
off.
But I think we can
There we
get
go.
something pretty buttoned.
I find
this.
I find I can't edge if I have to pith.
There we go.
Hey, not bad.
Good,
Not bad.
good.
Not bad.
I think we can hold on that one for now.
First idea, best idea.
Yep. All right. That's going to do it for Time Concede this week. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Really appreciated it. What do you think of all this? Tell me why I'm wrong about Sonic. Tell us if you're excited about Edge of Eternities. Keep your Sonic opinions contained to this YouTube comment section. Do not talk to me on Blue Sky about Sonic the Hedgehog.
You can talk
Post
to
your artwork of Sonic being fed to I don't know, various
Big the
sack
cat.
outlets.
We did actually forget one big piece of news related to the Sonic thing.
Oh?
Because there's already been issues with scalpers
Oh, yeah.
increasing the price of all the cards.
Don't say Sonic inflation.
Didn't have to. It's honestly pretty tame. I mean, I searched it on stream earlier today, right before my channel got pulled.
It's basically what you would think.
Yeah, exactly. Asked and answered.
Yeah.
It's about as
What I expected to find, but
it's about as tame as when I'm trying to find artwork for any of the Tifa cards. Have you ever Googled Tifa artwork MTG?
Yeah.
Some of that is not work safe, brother.
No.
And that's like the third column down.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that Italian language reprints of Tifa are oddly a lot more expensive than the English language ones.
She mama my Mia till I landfall at Tifa. Can we end the show?
Yeah, we can. I want to remind everyone, though they might not want us to, about Card Kingdom. You can get some of what we've discussed at Card Kingdom. You can probably start pre-ordering Edge of Eternities sooner than I'd like to consider, but the passage of time continues ever forward. CardKingdom.com/LRR. They're a great place to buy your Magic cards. Dragon Shield, use the code LRRMTG5 to get yourself 5% discount off anything on their store. And most importantly, everything that we do here is brought to you by you, be it on our Patreon, patreon.com/loadingreadyrun, or becoming a member on this YouTube channel, and we really appreciate it. Until next time, I have been Graham, joined by Wheeler,
I didn't touch my drink at all.
Cameron,
I need a drink.
Ben on tech,
I'm not thirsty anymore.
Heather gets these online. Thank you all so much for watching and listening, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye, everybody.